Zohran Mamdani is an economic ignoramus, as we see in this short clip.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over this city.
Trump doesn't want to hurt New York City. He just doesn't want communists like you running New York City, and he is right to limit federal funding to you. Look, you're just wrong. You're 33. You've never run anything. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're going to blow up people's businesses, their livelihoods, their lives, because you just simply don't know better.
And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here.
So you set New York's rate at the same rate as New Jersey's prohibitive corporate tax rate. It's hurting business. It's hurting people. It's hurting everyone. Okay, do that. But what about Connecticut? Connecticut's at 7.5%. So should Connecticut raise their corporate rate then too? Oh, well, maybe that's what'll happen. Well, guess what? In this day and age, people can leave. Now, he's going to make the case here in a second that it's all about, whether or not you do business in New York. Fine. There are ways to get around that too. All right. Base yourself in Florida with a 5.5% rate. You think that all of the folks, our Jewish friends who run these giant corporations, okay, have all this wealth in New York City, are going to sit around when, essentially a guy who is, aligned with Hamas is running New York City? No, they're going to go to Miami Beach.
And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporate.
Look, it's 2025. I don't know what this guy is thinking, okay? You think there aren't ways to get around that issue, the doing business in New York issue? Okay, again, this guy's 33. He's run nothing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's still young enough to adhere to the stupid Marxist, things that many of us thought were good ideas. Okay, he's young enough to do that, but he's dumb enough to embrace it after the age of 30. Okay, look, the corporations, the businesses aren't going to sit around and let him rape them. They're going to say bye.
Corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And
this is where we see the communists just bleed through. The fact that he has a problem with profit. Profit is a good thing. Most corporations are owned by people like you and me. And when they're profitable, our stock goes up or our dividends increase. Okay, this is a good thing. Profits are good. Those profits are reinvested in other places that create more profits elsewhere, which create more profits elsewhere and create prosperity for other people. Okay, but the fact that he has this contempt for profit, okay, goes back to these stupid Marxist theories of value, and you could just see it coming off of them.
Second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more. Taxing
Again, the silly obsession with the income tax, okay? So he's going to tax the top 1% or whatever it is, okay? People making over $1 million a year. By the way, I don't know that that is actually the top 1%. It may be less than 1% in New York City, by the way. Now, I don't make $1 million. Chances are you don't make $1 million a year. However, who does earn $1 million a year? Typically, it's business owners, entrepreneurs, people who have created things, who have done things, unlike this guy who is a politician, who is trying to make his fortune and his power through the state on the backs of people who are dumb enough to vote for him.
Just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. Mm-hmm. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error.
So if this tax increase is so inconsequential, if it's just a rounding error, then why are you lusting after it so much? I don't know. The last time I looked, I don't care how much money I have. If you point a gun at me and say, give me $20,000 or else I'm going to make your life hell, that seems wrong to me.
And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
Now, you also want to cut.
Now, it is unclear to me whether or not this guy is actually dumb enough that he actually believes what he just said, or whether he's just flat out knows that he's lying, and he knows that, that essentially, a few, as Lenin said, a few eggs need to be broken to make his socialist New York City omelet. I don't know. I'm 50-50 either way. Regardless, he's wrong. And regardless, New York, this is not a done deal yet. Save yourselves.